July 22nd. Beloved, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. 1 John 4:7. The word for love, agape, appears 4 times in this one verse. The New Bible Dictionary describes agape in this manner. The most common word for all forms of love in the New Testament is agape, agapao. This is one of the least common words in classical Greek, where it expresses, on the few occasions it occurs, that highest and noblest form of love which sees something infinitely precious in its object. This agape love is at the heart of, is the essence of God's dealings with us and the relationship He invites us into. We can discern 4 aspects in this verse that help us to love one another with agape love. 1. We are loved by God. In fact, we are divinely loved. As those who experience God's agape love, it is possible for us to love one another in the same way. 2. Love comes from God. John is not really telling us to love one another with human love. The source of our love is divine. God has poured out His love into our hearts by the Holy Spirit. So we enter into relationships in the church and in the world with this advantage of being filled with the very love of God. 3. We have been born of God. Our former sinful selves would not be able to love in the way that agape demands. It is only because we have been born again, our natural selves uniting with the Holy Spirit to give spiritual birth to a new creation, that we are capable of agape love. 4. We know God. As His disciples, filled with and guided by the Spirit, we grow in relationship with God. We draw closer to Him in intimacy, and our hearts align with His heart. It is only out of such intimacy that we are able to love one another truly and fully. Today's prayer. Holy Spirit, thank You for pouring God's love into our hearts. Help us to love one another with agape love.